Hey y'all, I wanted to take a minute to talk about identifying what it is that you really want. If you're a follower of Neville Goddard or have read anything about Neville Goddard, he talks a lot about going to the end, and how you really have to have a desire and make a choice for your aim, and then you can go to the end and you dwell there. He also talks about not focusing on what it is you don't want and instead focusing on what it is you do want. That can be really difficult. At least in my journey, that's what I have found, that it was really hard for me to say, here's what I actually want, and I'm going to not allow anything that happens that's out of my control, really, to kind of sway me, and I'm going to continue to focus on my ideal. So part of the way to identify what it is that you want is to stop thinking about any kind of specific thing, right? I'm talking a specific person, a specific item, a specific amount of money. Now, what I'm not telling you is that you can't figure out how to get all those specific things. I'm just saying for right now, for the exercise that we're doing, we're not going to concern ourselves with that. Instead, think about the way that you want to feel. So when you are going to bed tonight, if your day had been the absolute ideal day that you have ever spent, what would you feel? Like, what would be the way that you thought about your day? What would be the feelings that you had? Say there's a job that you really want and you want to feel like a leader and you want to feel accomplished. What to you would spell that you were an accomplished leader that day? How would you feel going to bed had you done those things as an accomplished leader that you wanted to do? I want to identify as a business owner. That's why I'm kicking off all of this. This is why I'm working on this, doing the content creation, because that's what I want to do and that's how I want to identify. So when I go to bed, I want to feel accomplished that I did something towards my goal and towards my aim for that day. And I can identify those feelings of like feeling accomplished, being proud of myself, feeling like I got something done. It doesn't have to be anything really deep. I just want to say, this is how I want to feel because this is my ideal. So really ask yourself, how do you want to feel? Then take a look at your life and say, okay, yesterday or even today, depending on when you're listening to this, did I act in a way and were my thoughts dwelling in a way that would lead me to feel that way before I went to bed? I don't know if I'm overcomplicating that, but let's say that you want to feel loved. Don't worry about a person or anything of the sort. How would it feel for you to be loved? What would it feel like for you to go to bed feeling absolutely loved? Did your day today reflect feeling loved? Or were you stalking somebody's social media, being concerned that you were left on red, not enjoying your life, but instead being like really sad and seeking something else to do to figure out how to feel this love? Those are all things that are keeping you within the same cycle. You're not actually changing anything with your thoughts and your behaviors. And so therefore you're just continuing the same cycle with the type of stuff that you're going to get in life. So really ask, okay, how do I want to feel? And are my daily actions, habits, and thoughts that I'm having constantly with myself in alignment with how I say I want to feel? And you can really do this with anything, and it can be an overarching thing. I just really want to reiterate, don't focus on a specific item. From there, start identifying things in your life, no matter how small, that show that feeling back to you. So using loved is kind of one of the easiest examples for me. So if I want to feel loved and I take a look at my life, what have been things during the day that I can start to recognize and pay attention to that make me feel loved? So an example would be if I wake up in the morning and my husband tells me I look beautiful. Okay, that makes me feel loved. If I go into the bathroom and I do my self skincare and I feel really good about myself that day and I give myself some compliments in the mirror, which I want to recognize that feels cheesy and it felt really weird when I first started doing it. But one, you're by yourself, and two, so what? Like, who cares what other people think about what you're doing anyways? But then two, like, it really starts to give you those feelings of being loved, even if it's self-love. So if I take care of myself and I do my skincare and I tell myself something nice in the morning and I just feel good about myself, I can recognize that as love in my life. The more things that you recognize, the more that you'll start to see them in your life, whether that is confirmation bias, your mind starts to perceive things a little bit different, law of attraction, law of assumption, whichever, higher vibration, etc. It can really fall under any of those umbrellas because it's all essentially the same thing. But I'm saying here's the ways that I recognize this love in my life, and I'm feeling that love in my life, and I'm going to start picking up on those things. So to go over again, first step, ask yourself, how do I want to feel? What is it that I want to feel? The second step is to take an honest look at the way that you're spending your life now. Are you truly spending your life in a way that says, this is how I feel? I want to feel this, but I'm behaving this way. So you really need to start being honest with yourself about the things that you're doing, the thoughts that you're dwelling in, and the way that you're talking to yourself. These kind of like thoughts that are running through your head all day, or what you're thinking about in your reactions even to life. Because if I feel like I'm loved, like here's a perfect example. Somebody left a really like rude comment on one of my videos that I like look like an idiot or something. And so, but to me, like I just kind of laughed that off and thought, oh man, I really feel bad for them. Like that's how they spend their life. That's the things that they want to do. I didn't actually take that to heart because I know that that's not the way that I look. I don't perceive myself that way. I'm not concerned that other people are so like caught up in the way that I look that they're not listening to me or they think I look stupid, because that's not the identity that I have. So nobody's going to be able to hurt that within me, because I don't hold those feelings about myself. And the same is true for being loved. If you feel like you're loved and you're truly starting to grasp that identity as someone who is loved, even self-love, which I think is sometimes most important, but even on the self-love side, you're not going to allow these other things to kind of push around the way that you're feeling. You're not going to allow external beliefs that there's somebody who's either not nice to you, or even like, let's say somebody leaves you on red, right? Like I've got some, like my daughter is a great example. I know my daughter loves me to pieces. If she leaves me on red, I am not devastated. I just automatically assume that she either has something going on, or she, like the message came through and she didn't actually see it, and so she moved on and didn't realize that I had messaged her. Because I feel so loved by her, I'm not pushed around by these like small things that happen in life. I don't automatically jump off the deep end that I'm just being ignored and she must hate me and she thinks that I'm terrible and never wants to talk to me again. So again, first step, ask yourself how you want to feel. Second step, be honest when you look at your life and the way that you're acting. Are you identifying with somebody who actually feels that way? The third step then is to honestly ask yourself, what are some changes to my habits and the way that I'm acting that would be more in alignment with this feeling? So and then the fourth step would be start to recognize those feelings in your day-to-day. So another example to get off of love would be if I wanted to feel wealthy and I wanted to feel like I'm always getting things and things are working out, for me all the time. Well, for wealth, I may, buy myself these like awesome pair of shoes that I wanted. And I can recognize like, oh, I'm able to do that because I have this. Or I'm able to pay my bills all on time, all the time, because that's just the way that my life goes. Or if somebody gives me a free coffee when I'm in line at Starbucks, it's because this is how things always work out for me. Things are always kind of going my way. And just start to recognize those things and be thankful for them in the moment. Feel them in that moment. And on that note, if you are either new to my channel or just for a reminder, that's also why I recommend to do a list of joys and add those joys to your day. You want to really start to increase the enjoyment that you're getting out of the day. And that includes the enjoyment that you're providing for yourself. This is all about feeling internal. It's all about the things that you do for you. So if I have a list of joys and I do this stuff for me and I really focus on how it feels when I'm in that moment, my whole day just goes better. I'm enjoying myself. I'm not dwelling in an area that I don't want to be in. Instead, my focus is in like how great my life is. So I hope that that helps. I hope that it makes sense. Definitely more to come. And we will talk soon. Oh, and please subscribe if you found this video helpful, and go watch some of my other content. Leave comments if you have any questions. I would absolutely love to hear from you.